Okay, welcome, Roberto.
Thank you, Marko.
Yes, we're having like these kind of episodes to meet the customer. So I want to bring closer the customer that we work with, and you are now the one. So Roberto, can you tell us more about yourself and about your background and how you started to work in aviation?
First of all, I would like to start by saying I don't know why you are choosing me for this interview, but I'm glad and I really thankful for that. My grandfather from my father's side, that part of my family, he used to work for an airline in Mexico. Since I was very young, he was a radio operator for a flag airline in that time in Mexico called Mexicana, which is the new one that you were mentioning earlier here in the conference. And so as a kid, I used to go there to his work. So I got used to see airplanes, to get on board airplanes. Later on, when I was studying high school, I developed a friendship with a guy whose father was a military mechanic. And we used to spend a lot of time in his shop, watching him and helping him doing repairs in propelled aircraft, small aircraft, Cessnas, King Airs, and things like those. So that's how the fascination for the airplanes started to grow in me. I didn't have the means to go and study or major in aeronautics at that time. And part of my family is also coming from the coast in Mexico. So I was about to go and study boat engineering, boat construction. It was a huge market that time in Mexico. But as soon as I got the opportunity by a friend to go study in Mexico City in aeronautics engineering, I dropped everything and I decided to go to Mexico City to study aeronautics in this state university called Instituto Politécnico Nacional. So I initiated my college there in the year '88. Later on, before even I graduated in '91, I started to work for another flagship airline in Mexico called Aeromexico, precisely. And I was going through the 5th semester of my studies, and I was working already in aviation. And I've been all the time working on the quality in compliance areas of the airline.
From the beginning?
From the beginning, yes. I went to inspection and then I moved to chief inspector in another base. After graduating in 1993, I moved to Guadalajara, Mexico, because Aeromexico decided to open a second repair station in that city. So I got the opportunity, I applied, and I got the position of chief inspector over there. From there, it's just a matter of time. I grew up professionally. I moved to be the quality manager. And then when I left Aeromexico after almost 22 years, I was working as a director of quality in a joint venture company formed by Aeromexico and Delta in Querétaro City. It's exactly in the middle between Guadalajara and Mexico City, right there in Mexico. So from there, but for different reasons and circumstances that were not under my control, I left that company and started to work for another airline in Mexico, low-cost airline called Volaris, as a also QC manager. And from then I moved. I couldn't stand living a second period in Mexico City again. After college and then going back, I only remained there for 4 more years, and then I quit and I decided to go and look opportunity with Estafeta, where currently I'm working.
So how many years you're now working with Estafeta?
This September are going to be 9 years working for Estafeta. So my career, if you consider since 1991, it is 91,
35.
around 30 years, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So your career spans a lot of decades already.
Yeah, we used to say that we were watching the termites eating the wind beams,
Yeah.
and then the lamination from the fabric covering the wings, and then corrosion, and then the lamination again with composites.
So it's a full cycle.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
seen all that.
Yeah, but can you tell me like the difference between that time that when you started and today? What is the difference in aviation?
Well, obviously there is a huge difference. The culture and what the Mexican CAA and the way of doing business on those companies. But at that time they were not really focusing on operational safety as it is now. They were not that many restrictions. We didn't have 9/11 by that time, you know. So and fuel consumptions and fuel costs were not a big issue in that moment. So the companies were working in be very productive and make a profit, finding the correct routes and the correct type of aircraft. So later on, we started to move from the maintenance philosophy, for example, MSG2 to MSG3, and many things started to change. That was the transition between technologies like three pilots aircraft, like 727s, DC-10s, and then we start to evolve to more like with the ACAS system, sorry, to technologies in aircraft like a 757s, 767s. And then that's when the company started to try saving costs. And then the fuel consumption and the fuel costs became a very, very, I'm sorry about that, very, very important concern and topic in the economy of the company. So they started to reduce cost and the best they could, and you know, and most companies were resizing, and then we moved to owning your own fleet to renting the half of your fleet. And until the way we are now, that we are renting mostly 80 or 90% of the aircraft that you are using, that you are flying. So a lot of changes, technology in materials, technology for you know, fly the aircraft, the systems of the aircraft, but also in the administration of the airlines. Then we're starting to focus more on safety. And now after 9/11, we started to focus on security as well. So many things have changed. I mean, it's completely different. And now, for the most part, I see that the companies are trying to survive now. Growing and expand is becoming a very, very difficult issue. The profit margins are being reduced every time. And I don't know, there's many things in philosophies of maintenance and the way of taking care of quality, the way of taking care of security, and reducing costs basically. No, but we are more focused now on safety and security than ever before.
Okay, yeah. Let's go back to your current role at Estafeta Carga Aérea. Can you explain us what is your?
Well, I'm in charge basically of compliance and quality area for this airline, cargo airline, that belongs to a logistic operator called Estafeta back in Mexico. My role is basically administrating 4 departments. Quality control, which is inspection, taking care of training, materials, shops, and everyday tasks that we perform on the aircraft. As quality assurance also, controlling, auditing, the providers, in our own processes, in all the areas of the company, and but focusing mainly on the essential maintenance providers. Estafeta doesn't have a capability or capacity to do the heavy maintenance checks on our own aircraft. So we have to hire an external provider, and in the States or Central America. And so we have to choose very carefully, and we have to develop the relationship and the service level agreements with them, and find the right interface between our company and their procedures to produce a check that is that complies with everything, the regulation that demands our CAA, and the needs of the company, reaching costs and effectiveness and quality that we are looking for. That's one word. And then I also are responsible for the security part. As a cargo operator, we have to screen 100% of the cargo, and we are the biggest logistic operator in Mexico, and not only by air but also by ground. So I'm in charge of to secure that we are not transporting anything that is going to explode during the movement of that cargo, right? Especially on the aircraft. And finally, I have the SMS system, which is basically integrated by three different areas: the SMS itself, the flight data analysis program, and the fatigue risk management system. That we are very happy with with ICARUS, and we are trying to get the best of the system to administrate all these processes. And that's basically my responsibility with the company.
Yeah, we have been working together, I believe, for 5-6 years.
Yeah,
now.
5-6 years. I think,
Yeah.
since 2021.
Or something
Something like that. Yeah,
during the COVID time.
Yeah, correct.
And even I have noticed that you guys have like changed for the better. So you start even using more of the system and integrating more areas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, if you recall, we were not using the QMS module. We were using only the SMS module. And later on, we started to implement the QMS. And so far, it's been a very good tool for us, helping us to be more productive, to speed up all the processes, the answering, and everything related to auditing. And we open it for all the air stations that we have in Mexico. That is fantastic. That somebody in Cancun, or somebody in Tijuana, or somebody in, I don't know, Culiacan, Monterrey, is able to answer and complete all the process using the system, instead of sending papers or sending emails, and then you get that information and upload it to the system. So that is time consuming. The fact that he can use the features and the system directly on his station and his bench work or desk, working desk or whatever, and upload all the answers and all the information, and we can check it immediately through the system. That's amazing. So we are saving a lot of time, and we are becoming more productive.
Yeah, and in that regard, like in the technology aspect, we can stay there. It's been a pleasure, of course, to work with you guys all these years, and we will continue to even innovate more. But there are emerging technologies also coming in, which is like a little bit changing the landscape, at least in safety. So what are your thoughts in general in looking at the future? Because you have a vast experience, especially in this domain. What is your kind of view at AI and all these new things that are coming up?
To be honest, Marco, I don't have too many expectations about the using of AI, and maybe it's because I don't know it very well. I hope, or I depend more on what you can offer us, or the way you can guide us and show us how we can improve and how we can increase our productivity, or find more or different solutions to the same problems, saving times, or I don't know. It's hard for me to answer that because again, I don't have many expectations. I tend to be a little bit afraid of using AI. I don't know if I see too many science fiction movies, but I think that AI came to stay with us. Is something that either you like it or not, it is going to penetrate the market and grow and be exponential. And so I hope that we are able to use it in our favor, and does not create more problems than solutions, right? Or we don't pay a big price for having this tool right now. I hope we can integrate more systems, more softwares, and we find an easier way to walk through all these paths that is increasing the complexity, and because the regulation is all the time more restrictive, more restricted. They are asking for more things. They are asking for more restrictions for everything. We have cybersecurity now, and we have to implement that. And since we are not really IT guys, my hope is that we can find somebody that help us out, and that is going to be ICARUS. That's perfect to me.
But you have seen the changes in technology across your career, and you can see how fast it's moving. So what do you expect? Like, it's actually, even AI, even today, is actually so fast, like changing. So you have seen how aviation kind of adopted much slower way to new technologies.
Yeah, maybe it's because what I told you. I think people from my generation tend to be afraid of using AI. Probably we are not that convinced. But that's the new way. But that's the new trend. I mean, we sooner or later, or we adapt or we die. And yes, I have seen that the AI is becoming something very powerful. And I'm assuming yourself commented to me the other day that you can increase productivity doing the same thing with AI that it took days or a bunch of people to produce one result, and right now using AI is faster, cheaper, easier. But I'm not sure if we have to learn, each one of us, how to use it, or we are going to depend on the specialist using AI for everything. But definitely is the future. I understand that, and as I said, I hope it's going to be for the good of the humankind in companies and aviation. And I really don't know what to expect, or how far we can get using AI in aircraft designs or software designs, new solutions, new processes. What I know about AI right now is basically what I see on the media. Like he's able to do developments like scripts for the movies and things like those. As far as the software or IT solutions, I guess the image I have right now in my head is what we saw during the presentation today, that how they are integrating the solutions to the solution, the development of AI, of But other than that, it's really hard for me to give you an answer for something that I don't know very well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, for that. And maybe last question, just out of curiosity, what are you doing in your free time?
Well, I'm trying to avoid crashing on my mountain bike.
Yes, you didn't do
but
that well.
yeah, but I'm doing a lot of mountain bike and a lot of bicycle, basically, because I'm practicing road I mean, not only mountain bike. I also do the other type of bicycle. We call it route or road bicycle, and every week in 3 or 4 rides, I am covering about between 130, 170 kilometers
Oh, wow.
every week, and I'm trying to enjoy that. I've been losing a lot of weight lately. I'm still reaching. I haven't reached the weight that I want to be, and I need to lose another 10 kilos. But
I think you're on the good way.
Yeah.
You're looking sharp already.
yeah, thank you. But yes, basically that's what I'm doing in my free time. I take every opportunity to ride my bike. I love bicycle, and I love especially being on the trail, on the hills with my mountain bike. But not always is possible. So that's when I go to the road and enjoy it as well. I mean, I love bicycle. That's what I'm doing. If you were asking.
And the last question, you've been here 3 times to Croatia, which
Yeah.
is a big pleasure for me to welcome you 3 times,
Yes.
3 conferences. Just give me like your thoughts about Croatia and kind of experiences that you had.
It is very simple for me. I want to live here after my retirement.
Oh, really?
Yes,
That's good.
That's amazing country, amazing people, amazing food, amazing landscape. I fell in love with this country. Before I came here the first time, we have experience with one Croatian guy working for Delta, which it was one of the partners of Aeromexico. Engelbert Gerbach was his name, and actually I think it is the brother of one other Gerbach who was the quarterback for Baltimore Ravens.
So we can find this guy easily.
Yeah,
probably.
and they spoke highly of Croatia. So I had an idea that it was beautiful, but I never imagined how much how nice place this is. The people is so nice. I don't know. I'm really impressed, and the weather. As you become older, you start thinking about the weather a lot. You're looking for a good place not too hot, not too cold, just to be okay. And I think Croatia is a place that has everything. I love the architecture, those little towns that you have, that we have, that we had the opportunity to visit with ICARUS and in these conferences. And I still wanted to go to Dubrovnik and
Next one.
okay, and Vukovar also.
Yes, Vukovar is.
Yeah,
very
I want to
nice
go
to see.
Vukovar. I want to go Dubrovnik, and maybe with that I will be able to choose the place I want to live
Yeah, very nice.
within Croatia.
Within Croatia.
Croatia, definitely is gotta be the coast, not Zagreb. Although it's nice,
Yes.
these areas are the ones that I feel very, very attracted to. It is really beautiful, and I love my country, I love my family, but this is the place I would like to retire.
It will be a pleasure to have you here, and thank you very much for the interview.
No.
Roberto.
On
It
the
was a
contrary.
pleasure, yes. And,
Thank you for giving me the opportunity
No.
to speak freely.
Yes.
And I don't know if I gave you the information you wanted, but
You gave me more than enough. Yeah, more enough.
Thank you very much.
Yes. It's a pleasure.
Marko, thank you very much,
you.
Marko.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.